everyone, and welcome to the finale of the Ratchet & Clank Range Only run. So here's what's going to happen in this video. First off, you're going to have a montage of deaths. You have 9 deaths and 1 death before I actually get to Drek. For those who are making a death count, don't add it to the death count of the first 3 because they're from the previous video. I just wanted to include all the deaths in this one. And then after that, because I streamed, there will be a montage of funny moments from the stream, or at least I thought were funny. And then after that, it is the full attempt where I win with commentary from myself and Mike Stout, a developer on the Ratchet series. So, yeah, it's an exciting video. I hope you enjoy. Additionally, I also recommend checking the description because there are 3 things there. One is Mike Stout's Patreon, which I highly recommend, and I'll talk about near the end. And also 2 text documents of the stream chats, and they are mental. It's just innuendos everywhere. And yeah, it's good to read. It's a lot of pages, but it's really fun to read. Look how much it does. I'm dead. I'm dead. I can't see. Drek, you're going down. Get wrecked, my son. Who remembers the ultimate showdown of alternate destiny? That was like the ultimate meme in 2005. This is the ultimate showdown of ultimate destiny. Good guys, bad guys, and explosions. As far as the eye can see, and only one will survive. I wonder who it will be. This is the ultimate showdown of ultimate destiny. Oh, Godzilla was hopping around. Tokyo City like a big playground. Shaq Fu burst from the shade or something. He got hit with a back grenade. Godzilla got pissed and began to attack. I don't know. It was crazy though. It was great. It's still on YouTube. It's fucking beautiful. I guess it's just the first time. Oh, I missed it. Oh, I missed it. Oh, fucking what are you doing, Ratchet? Ah! Ah! Please go on. Okay. I'm seriously looking forward to fighting Drek in the PS4 version though. Very intrigued to know what kind of boss fight it will be. Will it be similar to this? Will it be completely different? Will it have varying phases? Will it what will it? What? Oh, sweet Jesus. Okay. Why are we not eliminating all of the shitbags? Okay, you're eliminating all the shitbags, thank you. Drek for president, he listened to my demands. Even if he caused the problems in the first place. That's our government. Dun 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 dun. Oh god. They parted aside. Much like Moses parted the sea. I haven't hit him in like 5 minutes. Yay! Damage has been dealt. The first time in forever, I finally understand. For the first time in forever, we can fix this hand in hand. We can head down this planet together. I forget the rest of the lyrics. Oh, you don't have to live in fear. For the first time in forever, I will just slam this wrench up your fucking rear. Bring out the bombs, come on. Bring out the bombs, oh. Oh, no, okay, never mind. Bring out the missiles, oh. Holy buttballs. Holy buttballs was a phrase used by Sky Blue 1022, whom I befriended about 6 or 7 years ago. No, it's more 6. I haven't been on YouTube 7 years. 6 years ago. She is awesome. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7! Yeah! What am I doing? It's done. What a fear in my heart, but you're so supreme. Oh, bollocks. Oh, please fucking die. I give my sanity, not for honor, but for YouTube. Oh, fuck. Oh, God. Move, move. Oh, I pressed select. I don't know how I pressed select. I think I moved the left analog stick up so fast and hard that it actually hit the select button. I think that's how I did it, which in itself is magical. Okay, I hit him once. That'll do. That'll do, donkey. Get Shrek'd, mate. Open your thrusters for Shrek, Drek. Okay, going back over there, are we? Are we, my old fancy china, my well-oiled spoon? You're going over there, are ya? No, no, no! What did I do? What did I do? It's time for me to do it. Just do it. Drek is going down. Just crush hand. Do it.
Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it! Make your dreams come true!
Well, here it is. The final boss, and, you know, this is going to be post-commentary because it was 2 hours of me dying inside. So, joining me, I have the legendary Mike Stout.
Hello.
Hello.
It is I, the legendary Mike Stout, apparently.
Yes, that is correct. How are you?
Good. I mean, I'm doing better than you were at the end of the first 4 hours you tried, Drek.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna lay down how long this actually took me in terms of how many attempts. It's not as many as you'd think. So I had 3 attempts at the end of the Veldin recording for the main Let's Play. I'm like, oh, this is gonna destroy me. I didn't get past this phase, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna die so much. And then I did the stream where I think I had a very brief practice where I got to I did 2 attempts. Actually, maybe, yeah, no, I think it was just 2 attempts where I got to roughly, I think just the beginning of the 3rd phase.
You remembering the attacks and stuff like that.
Yeah, just so I can get a little bit used to it. Then I did the stream where I did 2 attempts, the second one obviously being really close.
And that was 3 hours long, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, it was something like 2.5 hours, just that one attempt. And then I had 2 attempts off stream, which didn't last long, and then I did the final one here. So I think it took me 9 or 10 attempts overall, which, I mean, I think doing it in itself is impressive, but considering it only took 10, that's really not that bad.
Well, and considering what a marathon it is to fight this boss, I mean, it's just an endurance challenge, right?
It is, yeah. It's an endurance challenge of the highest form, because it's just... Dodging it, once you learn the pattern, dodging it is not that bad. It's just all about timing and having quick reflexes. But when you get to the hour and 15 to hour and a half point where you are at the final phase and you are dying inside, that's when everything just goes wrong. Because you're tired, you obviously being fatigued, you lose your reflexes, you can't dodge as quickly, but more than that, you panic, and you also just want it to end, so you just get a little bit reckless. So it doesn't end.
Man, so, at the end of the one I saw that you were streaming, you were just babbling incoherently and singing.
Yeah. I was having fun though. I was just having fun with that. Yeah, no, some of that is actually going to be included before this run.
Oh, okay.
I had a lot of fun with that. I said some really funny things in that.
You did. We were all laughing.
So I was just like, this better be the run, because actually I'm very happy with how the commentary is. And then the run in this stream was just nothing. I didn't speak for like 30 minutes, apart from the end where I was just like, please, let it end. And you'll see why, because the end is tense. Like, I mean, obviously, for this recording, you know I win, like, because it's here. But in the stream, there's 15 minutes of me having 1 health, and 5 minutes of us both having 1 hit.
Oh yeah, it was. You were down to 1, maybe 2 hits on him. It was crazy.
So,
and then you died, and it was so sad. There's just this silence.
No, trust me. In the stream, he had about 10. In the one you saw. In this one, he has literally nothing on the health bar. So it is 1 hit, and it took 5 minutes to hit him. And I had 1 hit as well, so I'm like, just end, give me a window, please. But
because the only window is when he's throwing bombs. Right?
Yeah. And you said that it was either you or Tony who decided to make this harder, because he didn't run away originally.
We didn't decide to make it harder, but we kept beating him with the wrench, and so they kept making him harder to kill with the wrench until we.
Yeah, thank you.
And Tony was able to beat Drek without visiting the vendor at all, because what happened was if you visited the vendor, the game would crash.
Sweet.
And we still needed to check everything else in the game while they were fixing that problem.
Yeah.
So while I was working on something else, Tony went in and played through the whole game.
Okay, so yeah, you were saying, sorry.
What was I? Oh yeah, so the vendor didn't work. It was crashing all the time. So Tony had to beat the game with only the weapons you get for free, which I think is just the suck cannon and the bomb glove, right?
You can also technically get the Morpho Ray.
Right. And, well, I guess the Rhino, but he didn't buy the Rhino because
that's true. You can get the Rhino.
He was playing wrench only, and he wasn't going to play for the Rhino. So he used the bomb glove on Drek and used the suck cannon to take out those rocket towers that you skirted around. So he was able to do it without the rocket launcher, and we decided that was an okay way to beat the game. Yeah. But those things were explicitly in there to force you to switch to the rocket launcher.
Yeah, well, you see, I don't agree with that, and I need to make it harder for myself. So I need to use the wrench only.
So that's good, because I think, as far as I know, you're the first person ever to do that.
Yeah, I mean, because Gemlik obviously is such a restriction, and there are other parts which are really tough in general. Like with Umbris, people on YouTube who've done runs like this, they just used the bomb glove because they couldn't do it. And this, to my knowledge, hasn't been done before. There's no footage of it online from what I found, so I am the first to beat Drek with the wrench. You realise that when the PS4 version comes out, I am going to try that at some point. I'm gonna do a wrench only.
You're gonna have to give it a shot, yeah.
Yeah. So if there are any points in which it can't be done with the wrench, please tell Insomniac to fix that, because need a way.
I don't know what their plan is on that. I mean, they stopped doing that in later games where they would force you to use weapons. So that might, since it looks like, at least with some of the levels, they've been retrofitting them to not have some of the old problems.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be one of the things. Like spending money for infobots wasn't particularly fun.
Yeah.
Or and I have no idea if they're changing that or not. That's just one of the things I came to mind as what I would change if I were making that decision.
Very much looking forward to that game.
I haven't seen it since last August 2014. So it's been.
You worked on the bosses, right?
Yeah, I did boss designs, and I did some Clank stuff. And then Tony did a whole bunch of boss designs too.
Was it your idea to bring the bridge bot back? Because that was in the trailer.
No, the mechanics of it, Brian Algeier decided what the new bots were going to be. I think
genius.
Based on discussion with everybody else.
I'm so happy.
So it's a bit different than the way it was before, but I think it's cooler. So I think hopefully you'll like the way it goes. I like it better than.
Looking forward to it. I love that Metropolis is actually called a Leroy City.
I have a theory about that, and I'll tell you in a second. But I was going to say, in Ratchet 1, I was not a huge fan of Clank. Like, I thought he got a lot better in 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Not from a personality standpoint or him controlling the bot standpoint, but just from a like most of the puzzles were walk up to this and do the
Yeah, it
only
was very
do.
basic.
Yeah, and so I'm imagining. Well, I don't have to imagine because I worked on it, but the mechanics are way less like that,
Right.
and that was a priority for them. So I think people will be happy with it, but you never know.
Mm.
But yeah, it's the thing. Here's my theory about why it's a Lero City, and I have no idea if this is right, but this is just my theory. I'll bet that when they made the movie, they couldn't use Metropolis because it was copyrighted city, so they had the Lero City. And then in the game, they didn't want it to be different, so they probably changed it too. That's just my theory.
That is a very, very good theory.
Because that's the sort of thing that happens. Like we couldn't use Moneybags in Skylanders because it wasn't technically grandfathered in since we didn't call it Spyro.
Mm.
So there was a chance that Monopoly could get upset about that. So we decided to name him
That's
Auric.
so weird. Like,
in my head, Auric Moneybags.
Was Monopoly before the original Spyro?
Yeah, long.
So how did Spyro get away with it?
I don't know. I think maybe they weren't as worried about it at that point.
Right.
You can claim prior art, right? If it's a Spyro game and it's the exact same character, they probably wouldn't get into trouble.
Yeah, but
they were worried just since it was a different franchise.
Yeah, fair enough.
So in my head, Moneybags is his last name.
Yeah.
But he was in the engine. He was called Moneybags for a long time.
Oh, really?
We just changed it to Auric once the legal thing came up.
Yeah, no, it's so cool learning about the little things like that.
It's sometimes there's nothing you can do. Yeah, it's just really. But again, I have no idea if that's true. That's a complete guess on my part. But
it's actually a very credible theory.
Because Metropolis, I mean, that's like Superman, right?
Yeah.
He lived, and the Superman movie, like when you're switching mediums, it can get really weird.
Yeah, I mean, with game, you can probably get away with it, and even
they don't generally sue you for movie game crossover stuff. But I mean, the reason Captain Quark has a W in his name is because we didn't want to get sued by Deep Space Nine.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah, because there was a character named Quark in Deep Space Nine, Q-U-A-K. So we changed the spelling to QW, which I think is better.
Yeah, no, I like it.
Because Quark is exactly the type of person who would spell Quark wrong.
Yeah. Really. No, it's interesting. I mean, obviously, you may know, and you can't tell me, and I'm not expecting you to say, but I reckon, because I was thinking, what's going to happen? Is it going to completely break, the rest of the series? Because from what we can tell, at least, it's a reimagining of Ratchet 1, and then presumably 2 and 3 goes as follows from the original. But the Quark seems nicer from the trailers we've seen, and I'm just like, well, that breaks everything, because in Ratchet 1 he's a dick, and in Ratchet 2 he's the villain. So if he's nice in Ratchet 1, then that breaks everything afterwards. But there's one line in Before the Snaggle Beast where he's just like, really? I thought it blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, I don't. You're still a dick. I love you.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything about what happens there.
Of course.
Yeah, but I see what you mean.
Yeah, I'm just like, it's just that one line. I feel like you're still with Drek, and or if not Drek, your own agenda, and I'm very happy with this. I'm satisfied now.
Quark to me has always seemed like kind of a innocent only because he's so stupid.
Yeah.
But what he does is insanely harmful. So he's not strictly a good guy ever. You know what I mean? Even when he's doing good things, because he's screwing everything up. But he's also kind of a good guy. Like when he shows up to help you at the end of Ratchet 3, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So he, hopefully, I think what you're saying is you're hoping he has room to grow.
I'm hoping he has room to be a dick at the beginning. And then evolve into the guy we know today. But I mean, I don't know how true this is, but I read somewhere that the voice actor for Nefarious is in the movie, which is interesting. So if that's the case, it will be interesting to see whether it's actually does cover bits of 2 and 3, or if it just is like a flashback kind of movie, this is how our adventure began, or
I haven't actually seen the movie, so I don't know.
More importantly, is Nefarious in the game? I want him to be in it somehow. I would love that. I love Nefarious too much.
I'm smiling and not saying anything.
No, it's so interesting because although obviously you haven't worked in it for a while, you know a lot of the game and just can't say anything. I'm like, I want to know this and that and this and literally all of these things, and no one can tell me them.
Yeah, it's.
I appreciate.
There's actually someone came out with an article recently about why people don't talk about stuff when it's ongoing. And there's a lot of good reasons for it. Like, for example, like if there's a feature that's going to go in and you talk about it and then you have to cut it,
Yeah.
people get really upset.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, this is so cool. You get to ride on the back of Giant Clank in the remade Ratchet game. That's awesome. And then it's just removed.
Exactly, right?
Yeah,
you
you
would feel bad about that as opposed to just, oh, well, it's too bad it wasn't in there.
Yeah.
You know. So that's one reason, and then another reason is they like to drip feed these things over the course of the year, so people don't forget about the game before it comes out.
But also, just not telling everyone everything it adds much more surprise to it. It's like, oh my god, this is here. That's great.
Right.
Like,
spoilers, of course. Yeah.
Like, I mean, just I think what Insomniac have done with the new Ratchet, what they've showed a lot. They've shown a lot, but they at the same time. They haven't, like, I think Aliro City, the train sequence, is awesome. Like, that is so far evolved from what it originally was, but that's just a very small part of the level. So, and that's right at the beginning of the game as well, so...
Yeah.
Like...
You know what I really want them to do? I want them to do some of the old school commercials with the weapons.
That would be amazing.
Except way amped up with crazy effects now because it's all
the Rift Ripper, the Rift Inducer, sorry.
Because so far their marketing has been pretty like it's normally it's sort of a normal Ratchet marketing. Like you show 2 or 3 levels, you save one for later on. Yeah. Like there was sort of the drip feed sort of standard. So I'm wondering if maybe they're thinking about it in a similar way, and maybe they'll do some cool retro commercials, but
we've decided to team up with Mortal Kombat for the Bouncer advertisement.
Yeah. Oh man,
that would be amazing and terrifying.
I hope they put the Bouncer in. That would be awesome.
Well, the Bouncer is in. They've already announced that in the trailer. It was because it's pre-order bonus.
Oh, okay. So it's not in unless you pre-order.
I'm sure they'll release it as DLC. If they don't, there are going to be thousands upon thousands of disappointed people who can't actually pre-order it.
Oh yeah, because the Bouncer's the best.
Bouncer is one of the best weapons. Like the one of the small things I'm slightly disappointed on is it's not the original Ratchet weapons. It's weapons across all the series. More so, I think, the Future series than the original, which is a little, from what we've seen so far at least, which is a little bit disappointing. Just because I wanted to see the original weapons back, because we haven't seen them in years.
Well, you know why they had to change the enemies, right? Or sorry, the weapons, right?
No.
Because like just looking at the footage, it's not 4 hit points anymore, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So the enemy and player health are going to scale up completely differently from the way they did before. So some of the weapons that we had, because it's a fairly flat curve in this game in terms of how hard the enemies are, because we're not expecting you to ever get more life.
Yeah.
We make it hard. We make it harder for you over the course of the game, but you're not getting more life, so there's not this huge exponential curve. Whereas in a 100 life system, it works very differently.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm not sure if that was their official reason, but if I were designing it, I would make that change also, because for that reason, if nothing else, right? Just the things that will be fun to do with enemies that have more hit points might not be the same things that were fun to do with the low hit point enemies in Ratchet 1.
Who do you think polluted our last world? I did. This is about one thing and one thing only: cash, and lots of it.
I love when he says cash, it does a cha-ching noise.
Inch of my new world. Once the inhabitants move in.
He's so evil, man.
Yeah, I'm so glad he's back. Same voice actor as well.
This is the only way he could come back too, because he dies in this game. Like,
Well,
he's
that's one of the things, because I was always, when I was looking at this, I was like, bring Drek back. Like, he was a businessman. He wasn't stupid. He was smart with what he did. He would have built like a teleporter or something to escape if the worst happened. Surely, he's not an idiot.
Doctor Nefarious would.
Well, he would too. He's a genius.
I think the difference between Nefarious and Drek in that regard is that Nefarious is more like Batman, right? He's over prepared to a super villain sort of degree, whereas Drek less super and more villain, right?
Yeah.
He's really evil, but only giant mech evil, not turn the entire universe into robots evil.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess. Yeah, I see your point.
But
He's giant mech destroy every planet in the galaxy.
It's obviously possible he could have survived, and we could say, oh yeah, I had a teleporter, right?
Yeah.
But in the office, what everybody was saying was, no, he's dead.
Yeah.
We're not bringing him back.
Or is he? Because it's a new reimagining. Will we see the truth?
Maybe there's a chance they could change it. Yeah, who knows?
Because that's interesting, of course. I would actually love to see Drek and Nefarious team up. That would be so cool. Because what bigger threat could Ratchet actually face? The two most devious minds together creating the ultimate weapon. Because look, when you consider what Nefarious did in Crack in Time, it was like using the Great Clock. He was just really powerful in that game.
Well, I didn't get far enough in Crack in Time to see that part. Actually,
he's got a really great line at the end, just before his boss fight. He says, "When I finished killing you, I think I'll rewind time so I can do it again and again and again." I love him. I love him so much.
Oh, he's the best.
He's so good.
Well, and Tony loves him to death because he's the one who made the fight.
Yeah, brilliant.
In Ratchet 3, right? 3, yeah. He made the first Nefarious fight.
That makes a lot of sense because the lasers that he fires just look gorgeous, which makes sense. That does scream Tony.
And they were purple.
Yeah, it was black and red as well.
Yeah, that whole color scheme was something Tony and I think he was working with an artist. I forget which one, but between the two of them, they came up with this really unique color scheme for his effects.
Gorgeous.
That I think they still use every time they, not the same exact effect, but they try to make it look that way when you're fighting.
I've got to remember that color scheme exists, and next time I need like something art related, I'm like, right, this is what I want. This shade of epic right here. That's what I want.
Well, Nefarious doesn't screw around.
No, he does not.
He's just like purple, red, and black. That's all I got, man.
So we are about 20 minutes into this hellhole, and we've done 2 phases out of 6, and now we've got an hour and 40 minutes left.
Do you want to tell them about what the strategy is for doing it this way?
Well, what do you mean? What the strategy is?
I mean, the strategy is basically wait till he throws the bombs.
Yeah,
and try
there's no other way to hit him, really.
What about dodging the things? Is there any special tricks there?
I discover in this run there is something to double jumping. I do it. I can't remember how far into it. It might be this phase. It might be early next phase. But I start double jumping, and it actually just starts to consistently hit him. And I'm like, is this just a coincidence because I haven't hit him for a while and I'm just getting lucky, or is there actually something to double jumping and it's actually just giving me a little bit of momentum? Oh yeah, I do pause a few times just to be like, right, breathe. I can't actually breathe.
Well, I'll bet that what happens is when you do the second part of the jump, there's some magnetism when you do a wrench slam, a hyper strike.
Yeah.
And I'll bet you that the double jump moved you forward enough to trigger the magnetism.
So it doesn't give me any height. The double jump in this game is really bad.
Yeah, well, if you use the thruster pack, it gives you height, but not
but I mean, I hate the thruster pack. I'm like the only person in the world who feels this way. I just cannot use the thruster pack.
Well, I'm that way too. Tony's a thruster pack guy.
Oh, okay.
I just like the feel of the helipad.
Yeah, no, it's just you have so much more control. I feel like I
Right.
mean, well, granted, once you do the leap forward, you can only go that set path. Like with the thruster pack, it's so much more forward. There's so much more thrust to it, and I just feel like yeah, whatever's in between me and where I'm about to land is going to hit me. Whereas this, I might at least leap over it a little bit. But
I
yeah,
just
no.
like just it feels.
Yeah, it is a good gadget. Like, if you
And-
class it as a gadget, I guess.
Well, when you're gliding down, I liked the feel of the hover pack more than the thruster pack.
Yeah,
It-
you do have a lot more control.
It always felt like I was falling faster or something with the thruster pack.
Yeah,
wasn't
I
sure.
feel like you are. I feel
Uh,
like I'm pretty sure you are, because if you're not, it certainly does feel that way.
Yeah.
Because I thought like it's because I guess the thrust isn't as powerful as I have
Yeah.
no idea. But it was interesting when I did this boss. I noted that like a lot. It took me ages to realize, but like the bomb itself is the same one that's used as the I can't remember what the first stage of it's called, but the mini nuke in Ratchet 2. It's basically the exact same.
Ring.
Not the ring, the bomb itself.
Oh
Bomb
yeah.
itself is the exact same as the one in Ratchet 2.
The all of Drek's attacks were supposed to be using Ratchet's weapons against him. So he's got a rocket launcher, he's got the Agents of Doom, he's got the Mine Glove, he's got the Bomb Glove,
Yeah.
but they're all integrated into his mech.
And
so
what is the giant laser?
That's not a weapon that
Was
Ratchet
that a
has.
cancelled weapon, or
No, that's a
that's
Drek
just
on the-
he hates you?
That's why he only pulls that out at the end, because that's his secret thing.
Yeah. No, his secret thing is the raining death.
You mean this one, like the
No,
rockets?
I mean the missiles that launch everywhere and stop and then explode on the ground.
Yeah.
Final
Oh, those
phase.
things. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Those things are pretty evil.
Yeah. There's yeah, the only thing I have cut from this fight is the like 6-minute break. The rest of it is still there. So there may be like a break that lasts like 30 seconds where I'm literally just trying to not die and actually breathe, because I hadn't breathed. I don't think I'd breathed for like 3 minutes. So I was like, should really focus on what the hell's going on.
I'm getting a little lightheaded.
Yeah, no, really. It was getting it's something like I was staring so intently, my eyes were actually starting to hurt. That was what happened in both attempts.
Can't blink. Must play game.
It's more just must see everything on the screen.
Yeah.
And everything that moves, I must see it.
Is there any advantage to like grinding on the grind rail?
Not really. I mean, like, the only point it's necessary is to escape him when you hit the switch, because he charges after you and he doesn't stop until you grind. So I believe, like, you mentioned that it might work to dodge the laser, and whilst that does technically work, if you are in the flight path of the laser when you're on it, there's no way to actually jump off, so you're just stuck into hitting it, and it's a risk that's not really worth it. Oh, this might be when I discovered a double jump.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got weapons to shoot at him while you're on the grind rail, that might be better. But if you don't,
Yeah. No, I did a test run before this, just to get to third phase so I could see it. So I used the Tesla claw to get to that point. I'm like, oh, he's dying in like seconds. What is this? I've broken a phase in 10 seconds. This took me 10 minutes before. This isn't fair.
it makes the battle feel really quick, right?
Yeah, I think like if I ever go back to this and complain about how difficult it is, my skills have diminished massively, and I should feel ashamed because this fight with weapons is so unbelievably easy.
So your next challenge then is to do wrench only, no damage.
No. Actually, my next challenge, there is a bonus video. I'm not joking. No weapons, no wrench.
Oh, really?
How
Just try
far
to-
can you get with only movement?
And how-
As it turns
yeah.
out, not very far. You can get to Navalis, no problem. You can't go down the secret path to the gold bolt because there's a bolt crank. That requires using a wrench. You can go to the plumber route. However, you can't leave the planet because you can't kill the enemies to get the ship from the chairman. So yeah, you're stuck in the Valis.
That makes sense. I mean, generally speaking, we were trying to make it so you couldn't run past everything.
Yeah, and you can't. You can run past the first level, but that's tutorial land, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
that's one.
because I mean, the route to the plumber is pretty much platforming anyway.
Right.
It's more platforming orientated than enemies. There's I think like 3 enemies. It's not much. So you can get away with that.
I would love. I have no idea, but I would love if they put in some sort of joke about the plumber being back.
I hope so.
Like just some way of giving some.
Well, Novalis is back, so maybe the plumber will be there. So.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if he was in the game. I'm wondering if they're going to do anything to try to, because that's a recurring joke, right? Is always, instead of look, plumber's crack, it's look, the plumber's back.
Yeah. There's they do that in Tools Destruction. He's like, oh, it's good to be here in high def.
Man, Tools was my favorite Ratchet game.
Tools was great. It's really interesting because I used to hate it because it was a time in my life when I was just at my absolute lowest from just abuse and various other stuff. So because I played that game around the time, I just associated it with being bad. Which is really actually from a psychological aspect, it's really interesting to pinpoint that. Just because I hated it purely because of that, and it's like it's so weird. But Let's Playing it again a couple of years back, I loved it. It's so much fun. Weapons are great.
I love the upgrade system with the raritanium.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
There's something about that system that was just more addictive than any other thing we tried for upgrades for me. It pushes my buttons specifically.
Yeah.
And then when they didn't have it in Crack of Time, that's why I didn't finish that one because I couldn't. It was I played it right after Tools, pretty much. So I was like, oh man.
No, Crack in Time is really good. I love Crack in Time. There's a lot of really creative puzzles with the hover boots as well, which I hope return. Oh man, I love them.
The hover boots?
Yeah, the ones that make you speed around. They are awesome because they were in Nexus as well.
You know what would be awesome too if they brought back because originally we were gonna have levitation, like hover pack gameplay in this game.
Oh yeah, that's in Nexus.
Originally that was going to be in Ratchet 1.
That is in Ratchet 1. It's already been shown. It's Gaspar. Gaspar have got the jetpack from Nexus, which is basically the same sort of thing. But it's interesting because they haven't shown too much of the planet from it. Like that was I think that was like maybe was it E3? Yeah, that might, because I think they showed off gameplay before E3, and that was like the E3 gameplay. But yeah, with Gaspar, you talk to a blog, and he's like, I want I think it's like the brains of this enemy or something, because it's a currency you sell. Huh? The
Telepathopus.
I do not remember. Is that what it is?
On Pokitaru, you know those giant brain things?
Oh, right. No, I think it's different enemies.
They're telepathopuses. That's the name.
Oh, really? That's brilliant.
I don't think we have to say the names of the enemies, but that was the name of that one, Telepathopus.
That is brilliant. Oh my god.
I think there's someone who actually says it in a cutscene in the new game that they've already showed.
Oh, awesome. Well, I mean, Pokitaru is in the game. We've seen that, but we haven't seen any cutscene from it yet.
It would be cool if they do some of the things that we originally wanted to do on this game, like the Mackerel 3000 or the
what?
Or whatever.
The Mackerel 3000.
Yeah, it was a wrench replacement gadget that you would. It was a giant fish, and it would make wet smacking sounds.
Whoa, that's brilliant.
They couldn't get it to animate well because on the PlayStation 2 you just couldn't have enough. You couldn't do what it would take to make that satisfying to hit somebody with, basically. So they cut it.
Right.
And then we had a spherical world planned originally for what's the planet with the sand sharks? Iridia.
Yeah, Iridia.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned that. I remember you telling me that.
That cannon that's up there was supposed to shoot you up to the spherical world, and they pushed that off the second game because they couldn't make it work in time.
Cool.
So it'd be neat if they took some of the things we were originally intending to do.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And, put that in. That'd be neat.
But,
Tony and I are totally gonna let's play it when we get it.
Awesome. Why don't you join me in the wrench only run?
Yeah, we could do that. That'd be cool.
I haven't officially talked to Tony yet.
That's true. You guys are still across the divide.
Yeah, we need to do that. We need to speak at some point.
Tony did watch your run, but he didn't join the chat.
Yeah, no, I saw him for like 5 seconds in the chat, and then just nothing. Like, I was hoping for him to just insult me throughout the entire thing.
Well, I mean, you were doing it right, so there wasn't much...
I was, but you know, just a little bit, you loser. Like, just a little bit. That couldn't have been alright.
That can't hurt.
Yeah, but no. Back to Gaspar. The thing that I really like about it is you use the jetpack. From what I can tell, like after you get in the 10, he's like, oh, I'll do something else if you get me like 17 more, and then it cuts out. So I'm like, that's the planet. That's the 99 crystals planet. Yes, it's back. Yes, it's collecting
Crystal
them.
planet.
Yes, I'm very happy. That's my bolt farming planet. Yay, because it's really cool, because Gaspar doesn't really have much. There's like an optional gold bolt route, but it's very linear and not bland, just empty, I guess, around it. But now they've filled it with life that you can just fly around, which is so cool.
Gaspar was it was a space station, right?
Gaspar's the lava planet.
Oh, dude, I love that planet.
Yeah.
That was...
Just you wait until you watch the wrench only of that level. No deaths.
Really?
All of it in one attempt.
Did you do the gold bolt?
All gold bolts, every route.
Really?
No deaths.
With wrench?
With wrench, no deaths. I did use the turret though, because it does give me the turret. But yeah, no, it's beautiful. You will. I was shocked myself.
Well, I used to try to do that path with the wrench only as a challenge when I was a tester, so it's I know how hard it is to do it that way, and you did it first try, one life. Well done.
Pretty much, yeah. It's super cool. Watching it back, I'm like, yes, this is awesome.
I am wrench ninja.
I think it, like, Umbris really did prepare me, because it was just so soul draining that I was just like, nothing else can ruin me. And then Drek came along. But
you know those,
I did sort of like lose my cool in Poketaru, because I had done, like, I think that was at the end of like a 2-hour recording session of wrench only. I was like, I'm so drained, and this part has suddenly become really difficult, and I just can't right now. And then when I came back, I was like, I've got first person mode, why don't I just do that? That solves all my problems.
Yeah, it's Poketaru was one of my favorites. That planet was a pain in the ass to make though, man. It was the only planet in the game where you could do flying combat and ground combat in the same space.
Really?
And that
I guess because Quarks is in a different area, isn't it?
Yeah, and so it became a real problem to fit in memory, and B, make sure that, in general, we don't make it so you can see the whole level at one time, because that would bring the PlayStation 2 to its knees.
Yeah.
And when you're flying around, you can see the whole level.
Yay!
Yeah. So we figured it out.
Is it like slightly lower textures, or is it all still high quality? Or?
It's all exactly the same geometry, and it does level of detail stuff automatically. But what actually did it was we had a special system that did basically it put a whole bunch of cubes in the sky, and then it manually like went through calculations before we shipped the game, right? And it said, okay, if you're in this box, they can see this. If you're in this box, they can see this. And it just did it for boxes all over the place.
So if you're not in the box, the rest of it just disappears. It doesn't exist, kind of thing.
Exactly. So anything you're not able to see from that box would disappear. But because you're moving so quickly, we couldn't use the normal Ratchet version of that. They had to create a special one.
Wow.
So that was the only level in the whole game that ever did that.
Wow.
And it was a huge pain.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It was constantly crashing because it was out, like we would run out of memory. And on the PlayStation 2 dev kits, if you ran out of memory, they would let you run out of memory. But if you tried to play it on a regular PlayStation, it would just crash the game.
Wow. So with the PS2, like I don't know if you know, because I mean you start with Ratchet 1, but how much more powerful is the PS2 in comparison to the PS1, like on a scale, like?
Oh, I'm not sure about that.
Okay, do you know how much with PS3 to PS2? Or?
Well, I can tell you this though, that the inside of every PlayStation 2 is a PlayStation 1.
Oh really?
Yes,
okay.
the PlayStation 1 is still in there.
Oh, okay. I guess that's how it reads the PS1 discs.
Exactly, yeah. And so what we did on Ratchet was we were one of the only games that actually used the PlayStation 1 hardware to get our game to look as good as we did. I think we used it to do texture decompression or something like that.
Okay.
But we were using everything that the system had, including a whole PlayStation 1 inside that most people didn't bother with. But so it was at least, twice as powerful, right? If it had a PlayStation 2 and a PlayStation 1.
Yeah. That
The
is
Wii was like that too.
I feel like I should mention I'm on phase 4 right now, and I still have not been hit.
Bravo.
That will change very soon. Because the 2 nanotech are rounds, that means I technically have 10 hits for the rest of the battle. And we are 39 minutes into this. Out of 2 hours, roughly.
Jesus.
Obviously, some of it is cut out because obviously, drinking and breathing. But yeah,
I'm going to turn on my air conditioning, so there might be a whine for a while because I don't think I can do another hour and a half with.
That's fine. Don't worry. How hot is it over there?
I'll look in a sec.
Okay.
It's not too bad, but it's humid.
Right.
Okay. Let's see. What temperature do we have?
Have you turned it on?
Yeah, it's on.
I can't hear it.
I'm using my MacBook Pro's microphone. I'll bet it doesn't have enough gain to pick that up anyway.
Possibly. I don't know. You sound really good though. So.
79. Well, see, I'm standing right next to it. I'll go stand by the air conditioning and let's see if you can hear me. See, I'm moving back towards the air conditioning now.
I can still hear you.
Air conditioning.
I can still hear you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, well then, I don't know why I'm standing here watching you play. I should go do something else.
I mean, you create a small echo, but beyond that...
Okay. Well, that's good.
It's like me walking away. You can still hear me, but I just sound a little bit different because I've walked around the room.
Fair enough.
Kind of principle. Oh look, I'm still playing the game. How have I done it? Ooh.
Look, Mom, no hands. Let's see. I think the programmer of this boss was Peter Hastings. Either that or it was Brian Hastings, one of the owners. So it was one of the Hastings brothers.
I hate them. I mean, they're great. Yeah.
But I know that in the end, I think a lot of people thought this boss was too hard.
Yes,
but I don't.
I mean, technically, it's not if you use weapons.
Right.
I can see why people will consider it difficult, but I do not. I think it's pathetically easy now.
The main reason we thought that was just it got mentioned in a lot of reviews how brutal the final boss was.
Yeah. And then you made the prototype way too easy.
And we thought a lot.
There's the first hit.
Wait, how come you still have 8 health?
Because I got nanotech.
Oh, there's nanotech in here?
There's 2 pieces of nanotech.
Okay. Oh yeah, there's another one.
Yeah, there's 2 pieces. So I technically have 10 hits throughout the fight. If I don't.
Battles, we spawn in more health as the fight goes on, but not this one.
Nope. You decided to make it painfully difficult for me. If there was more health, I wouldn't have been scared. But
yeah,
alas.
It would have just been an endurance challenge, yeah.
I was really excited because I was like, at the rate I'm going, like, I can do my dream. I can complete this in less than losing 4 hits, which means if I bought nanotech, it wouldn't have made a difference, but then everything went horribly wrong. Because the endurance challenge just broke me very quickly.
After a certain point, I mean, your hands have got to be hurting, your eyes have got to be...
Yeah, just you get tired.
You want to move
go. You panic as well. Panic is the worst one, because if you panic, you rush.
I was telling somebody in the chat, this is like a desert bus marathon, like it's totally...
oh god, No.
And here's what the person said. They're like, it's not like Desert Bus. Desert Bus is like 4 hours, and then the whole stream ended up being 4 hours.
Yeah. The Desert Bus is like the most stupid game ever.
Oh yeah, it was a secret. It was a mini game packaged in Penn and Teller's NES game.
Still, do you know what's actually funny about Desert Bus? I don't know if you know what C3 is. It's the creative community. Oh, I can't remember what it's called. Basically, it's the E3 of Mario hacking. And basically 1 year, someone re-edited, they used a bunch of tools that they created, and they remade all of Super Mario World and recreated Desert Bus with Mario World's engine. But like, perfectly. Like, it wasn't 2D, it was 3D, you moved forward, it was Desert Bus, you controlled it. I'm like, what? How did you do this? Like, what the hell is this?
Well,
I love Mario hacking. It's just, the amount of stuff that people create is just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Mario and Penn and Teller, I mean, they would have been on the same, or at least similar hardware, so...
Yeah, but still, like, to reboot, like, the entire game, like, from 2D to 3D is impressive. Like, it's just hacking tools. But I mean,
Yeah.
it exists with stuff like Mario Kart. I've got Mario Kart Wii, and you know how the original game had 32 tracks? I've got a hack which gives it 220. Fan-made
220 tracks
in one disc.
Did somebody just make up a bunch of new ones?
People created tracks, yeah. There's a whole fan base around creating tracks.
Wow.
And they're really cool.
Yeah.
There are a lot of them are really well made as well. Some of them, the AI is like flawless as well. It's just really impressive. But yeah, like that's a thing. Like it's happened to the Wii. Why can't people hack the PS2? Make a fan Ratchet. I would love that. Like make Drek have 8 times the amount of health he currently has.
They probably could hack a PS2 to do that.
Like,
I guess
how hard would it be? Like from a standpoint of just someone having like an emulator and some tools, like how hard would it actually be to hack a PS2? And,
probably not that hard.
Really?
Like, I mean, if you have the knowledge, probably not that hard. If you don't have the knowledge, nearly impossible, right?
Yeah.
But like, I don't have the knowledge to do it, but I know in theory how it could be done, and that doesn't sound too hard if you know what you're doing, which I don't.
Yeah. Interesting.
So for me, it would be nearly impossible, but I'll bet you some of the people I know from Insomniac's engine team could probably do it fairly easily.
That'd be so cool, though.
That's essentially what was the name of the company that did the HD Ratchet?
Oh, Idle Minds.
Idle Minds. That's essentially what they did to make the HD version.
They just created a hacking tool. And basically...
Yeah, because
okay.
they didn't have access to... like, Sony had all of our source code and stuff, so they could see that, but there were certain things they didn't have access to. Like that, the reason why we don't have some of the things in Ratchet 3's multiplayer in there is because there was a patch that went out, but the system doesn't support patches. The patch was a super hack. Like, it was the hackiest thing I've ever seen. I can't believe Sony let us do it.
Wow.
Basically, there was a what's it called? Like a memory leak in the end user license agreement, and so our programmers were able to hack that and get root access to install a basically virus that installed the multiplayer patch.
Wow.
And nobody except maybe one person in the world knows how that worked.
Wow.
And that person did not work on the HD thing. So they were not able to do the patch because, you know, that was just too arcane.
So what did the patch actually do exactly?
It fixed a whole bunch of bugs and did a whole bunch of balancing things in multiplayer, and I think added some features like skins and stuff that aren't available.
Oh, that's cool.
Like, there were a few things.
Because it was actually properly online, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was for the PlayStation 2's modem.
That's so impressive, though. The PS2, like, because I mean, it's not like. It's just, like, it's not old technology, but it is old technology. Like, the PS2 being able to cope with online, it's just so impressive to me.
Well, when we were making that game, we still had to support modems. Because the PlayStation Network adapter was a modem and an Ethernet adapter.
Right.
So we had to make it so that people with 56K modem connection.
56 is so small.
Right? Yeah. So, and I think after a while that they stopped supporting the modem part, but at the beginning we had to definitely go in and make that work.
So what? Like, there weren't too many games with online, were there?
SOCOM was the other one.
Was it
The
just
other
those two? Was it Ratchet Free, Deadlocked, and SOCOM? Okay.
SOCOM, there were other games that were online, but SOCOM was
Like the main one.
it was the one successful one.
Right.
And then Ratchet didn't do bad. It did better than we were expecting. We weren't expecting to pull SOCOM numbers, though.
Yeah.
But SOCOM was pulling what you'd expect from like a modern day, internet audience. People really liked playing SOCOM multiplayer.
Yeah.
So I imagine, it was things like that mostly, multiplayer modes. But they were trying to incentivize developers to use it, right? Like they always do with their hardware. And then depending on how cool the hardware is, either a lot of developers do or they don't. Like iToy didn't have a ton of support, unfortunately, even though the technology was really cool.
Yeah, the technology was cool, but it's really interesting because I got a demo disc from like an old PlayStation magazine. I found it at a charity shop. It's really interesting. I found what is essentially the first Let's Play, because it says review, and because this is 2003 and the first Let's Play was 2005, and it says review on it, but it's not. It's literally just two guys just talking and laughing about over 10 minutes of commentary of a game. It's just really funny. Like they're just pissing about. It's brilliant.
That's sort of what reviews used to be like.
Yeah, but it was just like, that's the first Let's Play. Like, it's not a professional review. It's just two guys talking about their experience. This is just a Let's Play. It's amazing. But there was I can't remember if it was a trailer or like someone at the team doing a demo of the game, and it was like so cringy. Like watching them just try it and just like trying to act like they were having fun, but clearly they were making a fool of themselves, like doing ridiculous things. It was like, alright, interesting.
Sony really wants that camera stuff to work, man. They really want, and when that works, they want to be the ones who make it work.
Well, I mean, I like the one that they've got with the PS4.
Right.
But, I mean, I don't actually have an Xbox 360, but I hear the Kinect is pretty good.
Yeah, and the Kinect 2 is an impressive piece of hardware.
Yeah, I've heard Kinect 2 is much better.
But they had to take it out of the bundle to make it competitive price-wise, which means that they won't get very much support for it, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's a shame. But
it's sad because their strategy, that would be a sound, like everything Xbox One was doing before they changed it back is what the next generation of consoles will all be doing as best practices.
Oh, really?
But we weren't ready for it yet. Like Xbox, there's some cloud gaming stuff that is, it's almost online. That's just going to be fucking crazy, right? And so there's just these. I think they released the Xbox One like 7 years too early,
right?
For what they were trying to do.
Well, like, here's the thing though, like, because at E3, Xbox announced that backwards compatibility on the Xbox One is going to be a thing in like Decemberish time, and it's not going to be like you need to buy a new console. It's just going to be a patch that they apply to the console. So
it's an emulator basically.
So they've just installed an emulator somehow.
That's what it is. Yeah, it's just an emulator.
Right. So why can't PlayStation do that? Because the PS4 is so damn good. But I just want to play my PS1, PS2, PS3 games on there.
I don't see any reason why they couldn't do that. They might even be working on it.
I know why they're not going to, because they've got PlayStation Now. It's their basic like scheme. You pay a certain amount per month, and oh look, these old PS3 games can be streamed for you, and blah blah blah. But the problem is, the problem with that is my internet, as you know, is notoriously bad. It's worse on the PS4. PS4, I get no connection pretty much because they just can't connect. It's not to do with the PS4's. It's not to do with the PS4. It's to do with just the internet connection because it's just appalling. But like I just can't get any connection, so I could never use it because I can't stream the game, and I can't really go online often because it can't really connect at a fast speed. So it's just like why? That's a great system. If you can promise me in like 3 years' time, every single PS1, PS2, and PS3 game is on there, and you can play them all for £12 like every 3 months. Awesome, that's great. But at the same time, I can never do that.
Because you can't stream. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't have the internet connection to do it, and there are lots of people in the world who don't have the internet connection to do that. Why can't you just give us an emulator? Xbox is doing it. Why can't like? If they ended up next year at E3 just being like, we are abandoning our strategy with PlayStation now, here's, like... But actually, no, scratch that. I don't see why they can't do PlayStation Now and an emulator. PlayStation Now for those who don't own the games, and an emulator for those who do. Why can't...
They can. That's kind of what I was getting at.
They better do it.
now that Xbox has backwards compatibility, there's a competitiveness reason to do it.
Yeah.
So if they weren't already working on one...
They will.
They might be working on one now, or not, right? Like, that just might not be a priority for them. I don't know. It depends on if Xbox starts winning.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, PS4 it's just such a good console, though.
I think it's really well made. Yeah.
It's so fun.
I wish it forced me to update every 10 seconds.
Yeah, there are a lot of games that require updating.
Yeah, I want to play a game, I sit down, and then an hour later I get to play the game.
The good thing, though, you say that, you don't actually have to update to play. If you say a game requires an update, it doesn't actually require the update, you can play without updating.
Right, unless it requires a firmware you don't have.
Yes, I guess that's true.
So, like, if you buy a game on the store, and it requires the newest firmware, which all of them always do, then to play that new game you gotta wait.
Yeah.
But if it's on a disc, then they ship the patch with the disc, so it's not too long. But
yeah. But
we just have to ship patches with our discs.
So what did you like about E3 this year?
I didn't go.
I mean, just like what games did you see online or from trailers and whatnot?
I'm really excited about the new Deus Ex game.
Yeah.
Because I'm just hugely weak for that. And then Fallout 4.
Yeah.
I mean, that genre is my favorite genre.
That was a big surprise. Because did they actually ever announce that was in development before E3?
No, they just announced
it.
But they generally don't announce too far ahead. But that's
still, like, that's 6 months. Like, it's impressive. Like, even with Ratchet and Clank, we knew there was one coming. Like, and
I think Ratchet and Clank got pushed. Like, my theory is they wanted to move the movie, so they said we'll give you some extra time.
Yeah.
But I think they were thinking about releasing it in an earlier window, and then they're like, yeah, just make it better, and then we'll release it when we release the movie. And they're like, okay, we'll make it better.
That makes sense.
So, probably one of the reasons why it can be so amazingly gorgeous is they got a whole bunch of extra time.
Yeah, it does look gorgeous. I'm actually also looking forward to Just Cause 3. Cause
I don't think I saw anything about Just Cause.
Just Cause is mental. Think of GTA, but you get to ride a nuke in the sky.
So like Saints Row?
Yeah, but crazier. Like
crazier than really?
Like not in terms of like necessarily. I guess not in terms of what there is on offer in Saints Row, but just in terms of how the gameplay actually is. I guess. Like
madness.
It's just it's so cool to watch. Like it really is. But I don't know. I also like speaking of Fallout being announced, new Hitman game was only just announced to C3. And it's coming out this December, which is cool.
I thought they were announcing a Jason Statham movie. Because it totally, and I saw the bald head, and I'm like, oh, it's Jason Statham. Nope. Hitman. Still good, but
still looks interesting.
Not Jason. If it was Hitman starring Jason Statham, I would be more. Because I am totally Gatham for Statham.
I haven't heard that before, but
Patton Oswalt wrote an article called Gatham for Statham.
Right.
And one of the quotes he says in it is he thinks that if Jason Statham reads a script and it doesn't make him want to punch a baby, then he drives a truck through a cake store or something like that. Like, it's just this insane list of like all these crazy things Jason Statham must be doing.
I see. I mean, all of them true.
Yeah. Well, you just punch the script through a wall if that's what you got to do.
So we haven't actually talked about this phase. The last two phases will be longer because he gives me no window to attack him. Because
the
of
bomb
the wonderful laser forces me to move back, and well, I could move closer, but that's practically suicide. And because of that, he normally shoots the bomb immediately after. And I'm like, oh yay, I'm too far away to get him. And then he's like, oh, you know what? Let's go to laser again. That sounds like a great idea. So I still can't get him. And I think he actually tries to move back more now that he's doing this, which is just great.
He might. I mean, he is specifically running away from you and trying to keep distance.
Yeah, which is very helpful. Imagine if he didn't actually stop for the bomb, though. Like,
oh yeah, then it would be impossible.
It would actually be impossible. Or if there was some kind of glitch to do it, it would take 10 hours probably.
Probably, yeah.
Which I would never go through. Nothing is worth that.
Then the backup would have been just use the suck cannon.
Yeah, I guess like that's the only like alternative, and would work because I presume it can suck up the mines. And also the little droids.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because in the final phase the mines don't exist. So it just would be droids, which I would be fine with because it would do considerably more damage than the wrench. I guarantee it does at least 3 times more damage and far more accurate as well.
Yep. Yeah, well, the wrench is supposed to be puny.
Yeah. And I mean, it is. It does a great job at stopping me from attacking him.
And the thing is, it would not be possible to make a Ratchet game without a wrench attack. Like, the wrench attack is so important, but not for combat.
Yeah.
Like, we want the combat to be all about the weapons, and we want the wrench to be sort of like your finger that you use to poke things in the world.
Yeah.
So, like, I want to break those crates, poke. I want to turn that crank, poke. Stuff like that. Or, I don't understand what's going on. I'm going to hit it with the wrench. That's generally the pattern I see when I watch people play Ratchet games.
Yeah.
To the point, we just started actually counting on the fact that players would hit something they didn't understand with the wrench, and so we put in an explanation if you hit it with the wrench.
Right. Like, were there many in the original like focus tests? Were there any like huge problems with just people never using weapons?
Yes.
Right.
In Ratchet 1, it was a huge problem. In Ratchet 2, we fixed it eventually, but it was a problem until the end of development.
Right.
And then by Ratchet 3, we sort of figured out how to do it, and we tuned it a lot better.
So what did you actually do to stop people from just being like, oh, actually, I've got a weapon, I should use this? Like, as opposed to just having a help desk girl tell you, like, you should really use these weapons.
So one of the things is making sure that because if the player looks at the vendor and sees the prices and what the weapons are called and all that, and is just like, Pyrocitor doesn't sound that good, we had to do a lot of kind of work on the interface.
Just make them a crazy name. Like, Pyrocitor doesn't sound good, but Flamethrower of Death, Destruction, and all things holy. Oh yeah.
And we found out that all we had to do was to get them using weapons for a little while, and then they'd get it. Right. They would be like, oh, weapons are awesome.
Yeah.
So we just tried a ton of little things to get them to do it for a little while, like all those points where we make you pull out a weapon to hit something in this game. Like all the ones you had to glitch past. Those were in there because we were trying to get people to pull out weapons just for a bit,
I see.
And some of the other things were like just making the enemy setups hard enough and blocked enough that you're sort of punished for doing it with the wrench,
Yeah.
That sort of thing. But it was hard in Ratchet 1 because since the player only had 4 hit points, we didn't have a ton we could scale with the enemies to make the... So like in Ratchet 2, the enemies scale up faster than your wrench does. So even though we occasionally put in wrench upgrades, there are periods in that curve where it's just not a good idea to use your wrench. So the players will be like in that trough, they'll pick up some weapons, try it out, kind of get used to it, and then when they see new weapons that cost more money, they'll think this thing must be so much more powerful, right? Whereas we couldn't actually make things so much more powerful because you only had 4 hit points.
Right.
So yeah, it was hard in this game.
It was actually really interesting because my dad's friend from America. Well, he's originally from the UK, but he moved to America some time ago. He came over. And he has a 10-year-old son, who I hadn't seen for a while. I saw him last when he was like 4 or something. But because he was over for a month or so, I got to sit down with him and show him some of my favorite games, and naturally that led to Ratchet and Clank. And it was
How old is he?
He's 10.
10. Okay.
And it was really cool because he was just trying to play it, and I was I started off because I wanted him to experience the game for the first time, but I also wanted him to see that weapons are cool.
Yeah.
So I opened up my best save file and was just like, right, I'm going to show you what all the weapons are. When you start a new game, you won't have these. You have to get them gradually. But don't worry, because they're all really cool. So so I started off with the weakest one. This is what you started with. Do you like this? He was like, yeah, it's so cool. And I was like, okay, but this is what else you have at the beginning. I'm like, oh. And then I was like, and this is what you get at Endgame Rhino. They're like, oh. So he started a new game and he was just having a lot of fun with it. He was just like, so why do I have to kill these guys? And I was just like, well, they're invading your planet. Like, right, okay, so I need to kill them all and then I can just move on? Like, yeah, if you want. I mean, you could explore. There's some bolts around if you want to collect some bolts. Like, oh, that sounds fun. I can collect some bolts. So he just went and collected some bolts, and then because I showed him Ratchet 3 first.
You should do a Let's Play with him sometime.
He's not over anymore, unfortunately.
Oh.
I didn't really want to because it's more just protecting him because he's young. But no, he was super adorable, and he was just he wasn't very good at the platforming aspects. He's not a platformer, but he enjoyed it. He had a lot of fun with it, and because he only has a Wii and a 3DS. So he's never really experienced Sony before. So he's just like, I really want a PS3 now. Because I was able to show him loads of
that thing that you did is why video games will do the thing where they give you all the powers at the beginning and then take them away.
Yeah. Because
in any game where you slowly earn the powers, it's very difficult to get people to hang on. And want to, especially if you're making them buy powers, to want to buy more powers. They'll just stick with the one that they like, But if by the end of the game, I'm going to be running up walls and punching helicopters.
Yeah.
You kind of... I was thinking of the game Prototype.
Aspire to, I guess.
Yeah. Or Infamous. There's a lot of games nowadays that'll kind of give you the full-on experience at the beginning in a controlled way. And then but it feels bad to have things taken away from you, so that's kind of a hard one to use. And it hadn't been invented. Work. And it hadn't been invented yet for this game.
Yeah.
Nobody had thought of it.
What was the first game I wanted to have done that?
Oh, let's see. What was the first game I played that did that? It was a first-person shooter. Maybe...
I took another hit.
Is that your second hit now?
That is my second hit of the entire run. And this is full? Yeah, I've got full health now because there are no more pieces of nanotech. So this is the point I'm like, I've taken a hit. Breathe. It's okay. You've got a full tank of health. Just don't panic.
It's amazing how this phase is about 80% of the fight.
Yeah, we're near the end of phase 5, so we're coming on to the final phase, and we've got 50 minutes left. The final phase took me 50 minutes and took away 7 pieces of my health.
Jesus.
This end bit just destroyed me because of fatigue, difficulty, him not being close enough, him just being a dick, just him existing, just me dying slowly.
Have
me
you
needing
you
a
figured
break.
out the jump thing though?
Yeah, I figured that out. I think end of phase 3.
You know those enemies you were having trouble with, those little crab enemies with 4 legs and
yeah,
snappy.
in Blarg Station.
There's a trick to fighting them with the wrench.
Go
Like
on.
you hit one of them with the wrench and immediately backflip, no matter what's going on, and almost always that'll get you out of range of the group.
Right, I did not know that.
The backflip specifically, the side flip sometimes, but like doing the backflip move will almost always get you away from that. At least it does when I fight them.
Huh, interesting.
But yeah, just jumping won't because it's not taking you backwards.
Yeah.
And then if you get surrounded, you're probably going to get hit still. But even then, sometimes the backflip will take you over them
Yeah.
because there's a little bit of pushing
Yeah,
that
it's
goes
quite
on.
high as well.
Yeah, it's high, and you have a sphere around you that pushes enemies.
Oh, okay,
And-
interesting.
And so when you're jumping backwards and you land sort of on top of an enemy, it's more likely going to push them ahead of you than behind you,
Right.
just because of the direction you're going. It depends on where you land, basically. Like if you imagine 2 tennis balls, like where the top tennis ball would have to land to move the bottom tennis ball.
Right.
It's sort of like that. Yeah. And that's so that you won't get stuck and not be able to move if there are a bunch of enemies around you.
You will be delighted to know that in the credit sequence of this, I did spot you when I was streaming. I was like, that's Mike Stout, I know him, I love him, there he is. That's him,
Thank you.
right there.
Man, I never get over seeing my name in the credits of a game. Like that's always a good thing.
It must be a very satisfying feeling.
Yeah, I
'Cause
thought
you-
it would, after a few games, but it never does.
Yeah, I mean, like, like we said when we did the commentary of Ratchet 1 on your channel, like, you and many others helped shape my childhood with this game. Like, this series changed me, and you helped do that. Like, with either level design or whatever tasks you have throughout the series, you helped, like, make me who I am. And you yourself made me a person that you like. That's impressive. Well done.
Well, there we go.
There you
Yeah,
go.
We hear stories about that now, because the kids who were playing Ratchet have grown up enough to be telling us. But at the time, we were making these games and kind of sending them off into a vacuum, right? And we get back reviews and sales, but not most of the time stories, because they'd have to write a letter or something, right?
Yeah.
And but now to hear those people coming back and saying like, my parents were getting divorced and I would go to visit my dad and we play Ratchet and Clank, and that's one of the best memories I have as a kid. Stuff like that it's almost like too much to deal with. You know what I mean? The idea that just some game that we made can have that much of an effect on people.
Yeah, like
And
the
I'm glad-
hours of work you put in does change a person. You in many ways can save people, which it's a surprisingly big responsibility, but
Exactly.
at the same
yeah.
time, one that I'm sure is very rewarding when you hear the stories.
It's super rewarding. I mean, because like when you look at a game that did well, it seems like, well, of course this game was going to do well, right? But when there's a period of usually like a month or 2 between when you finish the game and when it goes on sale, and during that time you have no idea what anyone's going to want to play the game or not.
You said with Ratchet 3, like it was broken before 2 weeks until it shipped or something, didn't you?
Yeah, we were in beta and it was still not a good game, and that game came together right at the end of beta, right like before we did our first submission. It was a combination of a ton of things, like a whole bunch of the story and cutscenes went in at once, and then a whole bunch of balancing changes and some weapons, and like all the levels had finally been lined up with each other so that you could play them one after another for long enough, had a satisfying balance, and we had the difficulty the dynamic tuning in and stuff like that. Once everything was in, it started to get magical, but we were so scared for a while that, because it was really bad until then.
Do you think anyone still has the beta, just so like one day someone would like be able to share like just how close it was.
I mean, Sony archives those, so they might have.
Really?
Yeah.
So there's still betas of really old games.
Yeah. Every milestone that gets burned onto a disc, they archive it. They put it in a bunker.
No way!
somewhere.
Every single version of a game exists.
Yeah. Well, it might exist, right? They can always throw.
Oh my god, my mind has been blown. I need to work at Sony and steal all their files.
Well, these things are in a bomb-proof, an atomic bomb-proof bunker somewhere.
I will find it and break into it. I need these in my life. Why have these not been released? Sony, get on that. That's a brilliant idea. Because it's like, it's not going to ruin the game experience. It's showing us stuff that wasn't just put into the game. And also it teaches us how it was made. Because like, you'll be like, oh, that wasn't there originally. That's so different. It's really cool to see. Like,
And the thing is I think none of the people who worked on those games originally know much, not know much. They're like, the people who worked on those games aren't around now, so you probably wouldn't think, oh yeah, there's this thing that people might be interested in with the Ratchet 3 beta.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I just like that's actually blown my mind. I didn't know that was a thing, but like in some cases for some games every little change is archived.
Not every little change.
Yeah, but like every major one that's burned. That's so cool.
And then not every one of those discs is kept, archived. Usually the Gold Master is, at the very least.
That's
but like
so cool.
Because we would, when I was making Skylanders, I had a stack, maybe half a foot high of Skylanders DVDs that all had incremental changes on it.
Wow.
And then at some point, someone comes up and is just like, hey, we're shredding all the discs. Can you give me what you have? And then I hand them the pile, and then those go get shredded.
Except for one that you have.
That actually is what happened. Although
really?
I didn't keep the disc because it's not my property.
Yeah.
But I kept one of the oldest builds I ever had in case, and I gave it to Mike Graham in case he ever needed it for something. But it's from when it was Spyro's Kingdom.
Oh wow.
Really old.
Wow. Oh,
Yeah,
this is Final
Spyro
Phase, by the way.
Yeah. What?
This is Final Phase.
Oh shit!
And yeah, I did get hit just before the phase, so I take 6 damage, and this takes 45 minutes. Or 40 to 45 minutes, just this phase. And these are the bullshit bombs that replace the mines.
Yes.
Fortunately, when they're on the ground, they don't hurt you, it's only when they explode. But
That's
still,
good.
they're still annoying. Yeah, sorry, you
Probably
were saying.
not as annoying if you've got a rocket launcher right now.
Or the Rhino, which would obliterate him in minutes, but
Oh yeah, the Rhino.
Sorry, you were saying, wow, it's amazing that there's a beta for actually for Spyro's Kingdom. That actually exists somewhere.
That wasn't a beta, man. That was way pre-beta.
Okay, alpha then.
Way pre-alpha.
Okay, original version, like the most basic. Like, so what kind of thing was it? Is it just block textures, or like?
It's probably a prototype or vertical slice, I'd call it. Like what those are like you make one part of a game look as if it were in a shipped title is the goal.
Right.
But usually what happens is you make one level of a game, and 8 out of 10 things in that level are up to that standard. You know.
Right. And
So it was
something else.
It was a very small sampling of the game, but at that point they were planning on originally doing hundreds of levels, like really small.
Oh, really?
Yeah, instead of having big explory levels, they wanted to do like 100 small levels.
Huh.
And so they had been prototyping levels nonstop for about a year. So we had, in addition to, the levels that they were working on and arting and stuff like that, that disc had, levels that were built in Greybox still, some levels, and some of the levels that are there eventually got turned into final Skylanders levels, and some of them don't show up anywhere. Some of them got turned into challenge mode stuff, like the hero challenges.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of them got turned into that. Like, we used a ton of the stuff that was built for Spyro's Kingdom, but it all got almost entirely re-arted and redesigned, as the game was changing.
Yeah.
It was a very different game when it was Spyro's Kingdom. Like, it was sort of like you were upkeeping the village. Like, there was a mini game about building things in the village. like buying resources and stuff like that. And then the levels were sort of it was more about like, okay, you're going to run into a rock wall in this level, and to get past it, you have to switch to a rock character. You know, it was there was more of that kind of like what that stuff eventually became the elemental gates, but early on it was supposed to be a.
So was Spyro's Kingdom always originally going to be a Skylanders kind of feel with buying toys, or?
The toys to life thing, yeah, it was always that.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Even when it was Spyro's Kingdom, it was still that. But we didn't have real toys yet. We had some clay models with little RFID tags taped to the bottom of them.
Do any of those still exist somewhere?
Yeah, they do.
Oh, that's cool.
We also had just little black poker chips that had RFID chips, and you'd get a piece of paper and write the name of the character on the top of it, or paste a little picture of them if you were particularly artistic. And I have an old school. I don't have a working one, but I do have an original. What was the name? He was like a rock dinosaur from the first game.
Oh, yes, I know who you mean.
I have the original sculpts. One of the clay models for him.
Wow.
So I did actually get to keep one of those. And I have a Xbox 360 branded Gill Grunt for a promotion that never got done. Like there were, as far as I know, there were only like 4 to 10 of those that were ever made.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so sometimes you get cool stuff.
Yeah. That's amazing.
But I didn't keep the disc. But as far as I know, it still exists.
Wow. So what? I mean, you said there were like hundreds of levels. Which were any of the level on that? I don't know if you still know the level on that disc, but if you do, is it one that was made into Skylanders, or is it just a level that never saw the light of day? Or
their main level for that build, the one that they were working on heavily, eventually got turned into a Skylanders level. Yeah.
Which one was it?
Let's see. I can't remember the Skylanders level names from my head, but it was I'll describe it to you. There were like there was like a castle and a whole bunch of water and waterfalls, and there's a giant, sort of a stone giant wrecking things.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I know that level.
Yeah,
I think it's like
that
chapter
level,
6, chapter 5.
Yeah, it was originally called Stone Giant because that was the level where you fight the Stone Giant, and it had a bunch of really similar stuff, but none of the same gameplay, enemy setups, and then huge portions of it were ripped out and changed, and then all the elemental zones were added once we knew we were doing elemental zones.
Right.
So yeah, it was a lot of sort of ground up rework, but at the very least we got to start from something that already existed. Like the air castle level, there's like a tornado at the center of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was on the disc too from a long time. And then that was
like chapter 3, I think.
I basically traced over that map to make a 2D version, and then went through and sort of said, okay, put a bunch of enemies here, put a bunch of crates here. So like one of my jobs was kind of going through and taking some of the old content we were refurbishing, and then coming up with new designs for those areas. So that was kind of fun.
We need to do Spyro, the original Skylanders game, just like to hear some of the stories because it's so cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stories. That game was crazy because before anyone even ever heard of it, it had been in development for a couple years.
Yeah, because I mean, with Spyro's Kingdom, there was loads of rumors about that popping up all over the place. I don't know, it was as far back as like, I think 2010 people were hearing about it.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, when did it start development?
Around then, actually. It was very shortly after Vivendi bought, or the merger between Activision and Vivendi. When they got the Spyro license, they did some user testing and found out that apparently there's a lot of people who know who Spyro is, even if they never played a Spyro game.
Yeah.
And they were looking specifically at parents who have children of the age that would want to play a Spyro game. And so while their kids had no idea who Spyro was, they would say, he's a purple dragon, right? Right? So they would know the character well enough that if they're like, okay, we need to make a game surrounding these characters, just do 100 different prototypes.
Right.
And there were lots of different things, but the toy thing caught on really quickly, and everybody's so excited about that because it was super magical, right? Like when you hear about it, it doesn't sound that great, but
it's really innovative.
But putting the thing down and seeing it come to life was just, there was something about that when you did it, you just smiled like a goofy little kid, you know?
Thing is, like, it's amazing what's happened with it, because I don't know, have you seen any of Lego Dimensions?
No, I haven't looked at that yet.
Because it's so cool. So, like, I played some of it at Gamescom, and like trying, like, it's so brilliant, but also very, like, hard to describe, I guess. So, okay, so in the starter pack, I believe you get Gandalf, Batman, and the girl from the Lego movie.
That sounds like hell of a starter pack.
It is, but it's so much cooler. So you get also the Batmobile in Lego form.
What?
And hear me out, it gets better. So what you do is you build the Batmobile, and then you can play the level. And then there's a point where it's like, oh, you can't enter this level, you need a different Batmobile. You literally take it apart and rebuild it into a different shape, and it accesses the new level.
Wow.
It's so cool. But it gets so much better. So the portal...
It's sort of like Swap Force, like where you put different things.
But just Lego.
With Legos.
But it gets better than that. So the portal isn't like your average portal. There's like a right angle on the okay, so there's a down left right angle on the right side, down right right angle on the left side, and then a square panel in the middle. There's a portal stage. So in this, let's just say there are 3 different portal colors: purple, green, and orange, for example. You need someone to go through the purple. There's a switch on each one, so you need someone to go through the purple portal. Well, the middle block of the portal is flashing purple. Put Gandalf on it. Oh, he's now purple. He can go through the purple portal. Oh, the left-right angle is green. Put the girl from it on. Oh, she's flashing green. She can go through the green portal. The portal is fully interactive, and you move it to use you move the characters on them to actually complete the puzzles in the game. It's so cool. It's so innovative.
Yeah.
Well, and it's better than that. I mean, it's got like Portal, it's got Scooby-Doo, Wizard of Oz, Back to the Future, Doctor Who. It's so cool.
That is one of the things that Skylanders hasn't done up until this Super Characters, right? And I mean, we're getting some Mario characters.
Yeah.
But mostly it's been on the strength of our original characters.
Yeah.
Which, it's really funny because, like, you go to Target and you see T-Rex standing next to Spider-Man and Batman, and it's like, really? Really?
Yeah.
Know them that well? That's just retarded.
It's
like,
just
that character's
really
only
weird.
existed for 5 years. Spider-Man is 50 years old. How do these people know? It's crazy.
But,
Very cool.
It's popular. It's made 3 billion.
Yeah.
In just 4 or 5 years.
It's the first game I've ever been able to get toys made out of. Like, none of the other games I ever worked on had toys.
Ratchet and Clank has licensed toys now.
They do now. But
but when you were there, you mean, yeah.
Yeah, so Sony, the management of Sony at that time, they didn't do merchandising anymore.
Right, I was gonna say, because like Crash had toys and Spy had toys. That's really surprising.
Yeah, Insomniac was actually expecting it, but there had been some sort of policy change, and I guess there was another one because now they're doing toys again. But
yeah,
during that era, for some reason, they didn't want to make licensed material.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know why, but we just never had any Ratchet stuff until, after
Future.
What's his name? Shuei Yoshida? Is he the guy who runs Sony now?
I can't remember. Sorry.
Well, anyway, the guy who currently
runs Sony now. Yeah.
That guy used to be our producer on Ratchet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's really awesome. That guy's really cool.
I mean, from what I've seen him at like conferences like E3 and just various videos he's been in, he seems like just an awesome guy.
Kaz Hirai, yeah, he was. I'm pretty sure he was a producer on the Ratchet games. I could be wrong, but I seem to remember him coming and visiting a whole lot. So, but yeah, he wasn't one of the producers I had like who would know me. The only one I think that would know me from Sony, there's 2. The Naughty Dog producer, Sam, and the Ratchet producer, Greg Phillips, Super Greg. Both of them are probably the only people at Sony who still know me.
see. Going back to the new Ratchet game, I really hope there's an Insomniac Museum.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Because they could also do stuff about the movie as well.
Oh yeah,
It
that's
could be
true.
a way to entice people to see the movie. Oh, this happened in the movie. This was an original character sketch, and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
That would be so cool.
You took another damage, Teal.
Yeah, I know I did, and I
Better
took another
focus.
one instantly.
Oh.
And that's when I paused. And I'm like, wait, I won't pause yet because I don't know where I'm going to be after this. I need to breathe. Let
dude,
everything disappear and then let me breathe.
when
And
you
then
paused,
I started hyperventilating.
when you paused and ran out during the stream we were watching, I remember all of us were like, "Oh my God, he's standing on one of the exploding things."
Yeah.
We're all freaking out, and then you moved immediately, right? Because
Yeah.
you didn't know. But you were standing on it, and the pause menu blocked it, so we were all freaking out because you only had one hit point left.
Yeah, no, I could, the thing is, before I paused, I saw, everything that was there, and when I got back, I looked at everything on the screen, I was like, is there anything hidden behind that or that or that? Yes, there's that, there's that, there's that. When I unpaused, I saw things like, move, just go, I know what I'm doing, I must win, and I failed. But trust me, you thought that stream was tense. This stream was like 1,000,000 times worse. Because I lost 7 pieces of health in just this phase. And, it got to the point where for 15 minutes, I only had 1 piece of health. We're coming to the point in 15 minutes time, I will only have 1 piece of health, and there'll be 15 minutes left of this video. And there will be another point where, you can see it. The people watching can't see it. You can see the timeline. When that audio starts to just not have any audio there, you know I've paused. And you know exactly why. Something big happens before it that makes me pause. And it's just me freaking out and just trying to compose myself.
You're like, get it together, Teal. Get it together.
There is one pause which on the timeline will be a second long because I've cut out 6 minutes of me getting a drink, which is the end basically. Because there is really 5 minutes of me having 1 health and him having nothing on the health bar but 1 hit left, and I just cannot hit him, and I'm literally just shouting please for 5 minutes. just let this end now. I don't want to do this for another day.
If this is life, I don't want it.
Cause it just, the thing is, I was so distraught when I died in the first stream, and the next morning I was actually fine. I was just like, right, I'm ready to do this. I'm tired, but I'm ready to do it. I'm gonna do it. And after I had lunch and I had an apple, I'm like, this apple has given me strength. I am fucking ready. You're dying. Get wrecked, Drek. But it was just, yeah.
Were you streaming that one too, or did you do that one offline?
The one that I won, it was I streamed.
Okay.
That's I could archive it if people want me to. It's.
There was a lot of funny stuff you said while you were.
Well, yeah, no, I have got them on here. I'll archive them both just because why not? But yeah, no, they were particularly just soul destroying, and because I was panicking, the rhythm of the double jump thing was just going away. So I was just I'm getting 1 hit every 10 minutes now.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 300 hit points or something, and you're doing 2.
It's something like 200 over the entire fight, and I believe it's 150 to 200. I believe he has 30 per phase. I think something like that. It's 25 to 30. I swear he has more in the final phase. I swear. I might be wrong, but it felt like an eternity. So.
I think the easiest way to tell is with the blaster, because each bullet does 1.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
I'm not positive about that, but I seem to remember that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You could check to see how many hit points he had if you wanted to.
Well, that's technically not because the hyper strike does 2 damage as opposed to 1.
Right.
So, I mean, technically, I have to hit him I have to hit him. If I wasn't doing hyper strike, I'd have to hit him 400 or 500 times.
Okay, so you had 200 wrench strikes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah. So So that's a lot of hits. But yeah, I just had to check to see if my health is still at 5. And I'm like, is it a 5 or 4? How much do I have to panic right now? It's a 5. Okay, good. That's nice. I like it being 5. That will change very soon. Future Teal, past Teal, the Teal that was suffering in that time. The good thing is, I can't actually remember what it feels like to be suffering and that stressed. Like, it's completely gone. I can't actually remember what it feels like. I remember my eyes and my neck hurting. Like, my shoulder, neck area hurting.
I think at this point you count as an esports athlete.
I guess I could. Like, it's just...
You should put that on your resume.
I feel like friend of developers is cool enough.
Oh, there you go.
Like, friend of Mike Stout. I mean, like, if I needed a resume, I feel like you could cover me.
Thanks, Teal. You're the best.
Thanks. So are you. I would hire you.
Oh,
10 out of 10 would hire.
What?
Well, you can see in the timeline that I do cut, and that would be the drink. So I've been hit there because I mistimed stuff. I think I take like another 2 hits in quick succession, and that was what basically broke me. Because at this point I am panicking because I timed that wrong. I'm like, okay, it's okay, it's okay. I screwed it up, didn't count it right, wasn't really paying attention. My bad. Won't do it again. I will very, very distinctly count out exactly how many he has shot from now on. But I just need to. So good, so good. I'm an island of peace. That's all I am. And then it that breakdown. I can't actually remember if it is because I get hit or if I'm just like, I'm so stressed right now. I need to stop.
I'm watching the pointer go towards that spot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God, it's coming. It's coming.
I can't remember what. Do I actually get hit? I must get hit by something. There's no reason I'd stop otherwise. I must fuck up. There's no way. Maybe I don't. Maybe I'm just like... No, I think I'm just like, I need a break. Maybe I don't... Okay. Maybe it's not now. I think I just need a break, and then in quick succession I just screw up. I think that's what happens.
Alright, well we gotta keep an eye open so we can heckle you.
Yay.
What were we talking about right before that?
I can't remember.
I was gonna say something about...
There's some pausing down there. It's coming. Yeah. There is some distinct pausing coming. But, yeah, it's in about 10 minutes.
I remember now.
There'll be me freaking out. Sorry, go on.
We were talking earlier about the wrench and how were just trying to get people not to use it. What I think was more effective was what they did starting in the new Ratchets, where they let you throw the wrench while you were running.
Yeah, start with cracking time. That is just the most satisfying thing.
Because then now the wrench is useful with your weapons, because you can throw the wrench, shoot a weapon, like you can knock someone back. That actually makes it powerful, but not in like a I only need to use this way.
Yeah. That's the thing though, because the wrench isn't as powerful now, it would make doing a wrench only run much harder. Like, I can distinctly remember a section in Crack of Time where you're escaping this, this prison ship, and before you can get to the exit, there's literally an onslaught of 30 or so enemies, all very powerful, take like 3 hits to kill with a weapon, kind of powerful. So I'm just thinking, how could I ever do that with the wrench? That said, I remember them being that powerful on hard mode, so I wonder what it would be like if it was normal. Would it be more manageable than wrench? Did Gladiator have a difficulty system?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the first one.
Yeah, I vaguely remember it.
The Gladiator had 2 difficulty systems. The other ones all just had one. That was invisible. So so like for example, on Drek, every time you die, he has a little less health.
Yeah, I read that in the chat, and then someone was like, "Could you just sacrifice yourself over and over again?" And you're like, "Nah, that wouldn't work." So
No, there's safeguards in to make sure that you're not doing that. Like falling off a cliff, for example, won't do it. There's like basically it's checking your input for certain things. It is possible to game it. I just don't remember what the rules were.
Right.
And it will never go down to 0, right? It just goes
Yeah.
down to what you think the easiest he should be.
So how much roughly do you think? Like, say he has 400 regular wrenches. How much do you think it would go down? What, 350?
It might go down by 100 total wrenches.
That's not too bad. I would take that. That's
if you
50.
died.
That's
if you died a ton of times, though.
Right.
Like you would have had to, yeah. Because each time is just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
And a lot of Ratchet bosses do that in the background, but like from Ratchet 2 to Ratchet Deadlocked, I think Tools had it too. We had dynamic difficulty tuning in the background.
Yeah.
That would it wouldn't change difficulty now, like what's happening in the Drek fight. Where it's like you die and then it gets easier. The way that worked was you die and it changes something in content you haven't gotten to yet.
Right.
So like it says, okay, apparently this level is 10 hard for this person. So the next level we're going to adjust it downwards so that it's at the right difficulty for this person. Stuff like that.
Yeah, so it's like if you like in gaming, if you think you're getting better, you're probably not. Like in some cases.
I mean, that's even the case with like Mario and stuff.
Yeah.
The games do so much to help you, but it's not because we don't think the players are good at it. It's because you have an inherent disadvantage when you're using a controller, because you don't get to use any of the things you've learned in your entire life about moving around.
Yeah. Also, there's also the fact that the more you fail at something, the less likely you are going to be to complete it, because you're just getting more and more angry, and that just
Good point. Yeah.
your rage will only fuel your recklessness and thus your inability to complete something, which is essentially what happened here. I panicked and I got angry, and therefore I almost killed myself. Like
Now the difficulty change in Drek doesn't save. So every time you reboot the game, he goes back to being as hard as he would.
Yeah, I figured, like, that was the thing, because before the fight started, I loaded the save, because I was like, right, it will give me the cutscene. In the end, it didn't. I had to take the cutscene from a previous attempt and just edited it. But, I was like, okay, it's going to give me a small breather. Oh, there's no breather. Sweet, alright, fine.
Also, the comment, the music was the non-fight music. Like it was the relaxing music when you went in the second time.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. But what I was saying was for the future difficulty tuning systems, there's basically the whole rest of the game that you haven't played is saying we don't know how difficult we're going to be yet, because all we know is how difficult we are in relation to the previous level.
Yeah.
Right? So all of the enemies, we set hit points so the relative to each other, we know how strong they are. And then we set the whole level up so relative to the previous level, it's this much stronger. But then we find out if we were wrong. And then if we were wrong, we try to fix it.
Right, I feel like I should explain what just happened. I took a hit by one of the bombs, and that one hit was actually not my fault. So the problem with this, I guess the last 4 phases of this fight, because when he's on the rock ground, he doesn't clip into it, but the ground is higher up, so he's just resting on top of it. Because the ground is lower down, he's floating above it. What ended up happening is I got so close that I was very slightly under him, and because I was under him, when I jumped, I just hit him. And therefore I couldn't escape the blast. And that, I think, was what really fueled my fear for the rest of this boss battle, because I was fully prepared to go into this boss battle and win. And like even at this point, I'd lost health, but I still had a lot, and I wasn't scared. I was close to the end. I was doing a lot of damage. That one glitch really threw me off, because that was just like it's never happened before, but now it has. I legit forgot that can happen, and now I'm scared. Like, I'm so close, and it could happen again. And yeah, I panicked there. I'm like, okay, breathe, sweet. Because I have 2 hits at this point.
Yeah.
And you can see another big pause very soon.
Yeah. And is that the epic pause?
That is the I am so scared right now. I have 1 hit pause. And then I guess the last 12, 13 minutes is just I have 1 health. And I am facing Drek in true epic style. But yeah, this is...
Here it comes.
Yeah, it is here. I think... Yeah, I got scared that the guys were there. I was like, oh god, they're here, they exist. And that...
Oh no.
I freaked out. I wasn't thinking straight at all. Like, they're not a threat. I wasn't even at the edge. But I was just like, they're here. There's something here. What's here? Like, I was just like, oh my god, is it a bomb? Is it a bomb? What's here? They're the little creatures, the little shits that don't do anything to you. But my brain just couldn't see that. I was like, is it going to explode on me? What do they do again? So, yeah, that was me.
The time is taking its toll, man.
Like, that was literally that pause. I'm not even joking. I was struggling to breathe. I really couldn't breathe properly. I was just like, what do I do? I want this to end. He's so... At this point, he has about 5 hits left.
5 hits, okay.
I think, something like that. It's
and so
not...
for the next 15 minutes, you're running around in a panic.
Trying not to die, and trying to hit him, and trying not to glitch. Like, that's the thing. Because I did the glitch, and that basically caused my almost my downfall. Like, I was... Oh, God, there are so many moments where the bombs just nearly get me, and just things... Like, this is just the most terrifying 15 minutes. Just everything ruins me.
Oh, man.
It's just, like, in the stream, it was so tense. Because, think about it, there was a good 15 minutes not knowing what would happen.
Yeah.
And for me, I was slowly dying.
It really is too bad you can't get health from the PDA.
Yeah, I really wish you could. Or just anywhere. Anywhere at all.
Yeah, if
like
there were health crates.
One bit for, like, 4 health crates instead of 2. 4, that's all I want. 4. Enough to fill the original health bar. Like, that's all I want. That would have been more than enough. I wouldn't have been as scared. I would have been fine.
Well, the
Because
whole
I wasn't being reckless. I was...
The whole thing is tuned for 4 hit points. But 4 hit points weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, just... it was fun. There should be a trophy in one Ratchet game where complete final boss with wrench only. That'd be cool. A brutal gold trophy. But cool anyway.
We had the wrench only skill point for that one boss. In,
the chain blade.
Yeah.
And there was also, I think, one with another boss.
The alien queen in this one, in RC1.
Yes, there was. Yeah.
Yeah. She
No,
like
I feel like there's a second wrench skill point. Oh, I know, it's planet Joba. The entire planet. Kill all the enemies with only the wrench.
Right, and that skill point drove Tony crazy.
That is brutal, because if any of the enemies fall off, and it can happen very easily because they shoot each other, doesn't count. You have to leave the planet.
Yeah.
It's so bad, and I think you have to do it before you beat the planet for the first time, because there aren't as many enemies and it doesn't count.
Ow.
It's really bad.
Wow.
It's a super brutal skill point. I might be wrong about that. That bit I might be making up. But
the thing about not as many enemies, though, that would make sense because every Ratchet segment in these early games had minor setups.
Yeah, it was also just more once you beat a planet, you don't need to fight all the enemies again if you're going to come back, because you've done it already.
Well, we were sort of expecting that people would want to go back to farm for bolts.
Right.
And we didn't have, like, arenas yet, or crystal mining, so we didn't have a really fun way to go look for bolts. So we thought,
Ratchet
well...
has no bolts in it, though.
If we make the levels slightly easier, then maybe people will want to play. Yeah, actually, the way the bolt system works is you can't, if you're gaining bolts legally, you can't get more than a certain amount in a certain amount of time.
Really? Like
yeah.
It doesn't even increase in challenge mode, does it?
It might increase in challenge mode.
I'm pretty sure it doesn't, because I remember playing because there's a trophy to get 1,000,000 bolts in Ratchet 1. And to do that, I had to play through like 5 times.
That's the thing with shit. I'm trying to remember.
There is that one like glitch in the hoverboard races with the taunter, but It's still
Yeah.
slow.
Yeah.
It's still like you have to tape the taunter button down for 20 hours.
Yeah, we didn't do it this way in the other games, in terms of the economy, like scaling the economy based on time like that. In the other games, it was like every level would be given a budget of bolts,
Right.
and then as you broke the crates, it would divide how many bolts were in the level among those crates, right?
Well, I
and
mean,
then
it's not also that. There's also the metal detector, which has 50 bolts per time you use it.
in this one, yeah.
Yeah.
But the one I'm talking about right now is a different, for like Ratchet 2 and forward.
Ah, okay.
They did it a little bit differently, where basically it only tries to help you get more bolts instead of trying to restrict how many bolts you get.
Right,
So like,
I
if bolts fall off the world or you forget to collect them, those will get put in future crates, stuff like that.
see. Do you see it? Look
What
at the
happened?
health bar.
Oh god!
It is literally one hit, and this one hit takes me about 7 minutes. 6-7 minutes.
I'm glad I wasn't watching this live, man. I would have had a heart attack.
It is the worst. Yeah.
Oh god!
Just everything. 7 minutes of just me v him, one hit each. The ultimate showdown of Ultimate Destiny.
First blood wins.
It was so terrifying.
Now imagine if you could throw the wrench while you were running. You'd probably have a much better chance to hit him with
I'd
it.
be able to do it in the air. It'd be no
Yeah.
problem. I wouldn't care. This fight would be easy.
But so I think that the way they changed the wrench to work that way, probably a lot better than just trying to discourage people from using it, which is what
Yeah.
we were doing early on. But we didn't know yet.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no,
We
of
didn't
course.
even know
It's
what a Ratchet game was supposed to be yet.
Yeah. Do you know what would be really cool if in the PS4 Ratchet, if it had the Easter eggs of the original, like the big boob
Yeah.
glitch?
The what?
The big boob glitch in Blackwater. Just if they included that as an Easter egg.
Oh, there's no way.
Yeah, I know. But I mean,
There's
like,
zero-
different thing. If you can get into the hoverboard races and glitch and get infinite bolts,
You'll have to
test
Try-
it rigorously.
I'm guessing you're gonna have to find a new way to break it.
I will
because-
find a way. If the
because they're probably not going to code it the same way it
if
was
the
coded
decoy
before.
decoy glove is still there and there's still a wall to clip through, presuming it's in the same level, it's doable. Because
Yeah, I mean-
if you remember, I showed you that with the decoy
Well, remember
glove.
also they allow those things to be pushed now, so they don't push you through the walls.
Bollocks, they don't.
There's a ton
That
of there's-
Nexus is all about that. Nexus can be beaten in under 20 minutes because of that glitch.
That's true, but Nexus was made in 9 months.
Fair enough. Okay,
This-
I didn't.
this
Was
game
it
they've
seriously
actually-
only made in 9 months?
Well, of production, usually there's 3 months of pre-production before that, so it's about a year.
Really? Is it that? Was that all? Wow.
Yeah,
That's
it was made
actually-
right after the one. I think they started right after All for One.
Full Frontal Assault was after All for One.
Okay, after Full Frontal Assault, then yeah. But I mean, those were every year. They released
Yeah.
those once a year, and it's the same team. It's not a.
Yeah. Wow. It was only 9 months. That's impressive, considering.
Yeah, 9 months of production, which is the actual like putting everything together, and then usually 3 months at the beginning of trying to figure out what it is, where you're just it's like doodling, brainstorming some stuff. So those first 3 months, you're not building a game; you're trying to figure out what the game is. Assuming that they did it the same way that they did other ones, and I
Yeah.
worked a little bit on Nexus, but I was only there at the end.
What did you do on Nexus?
I did some of they lost a designer partway through who was in charge of their like difficulty tuning because they did the tuning mostly manually for that game
Right.
instead of like the automatic stuff I was talking about, and just like figuring out what the prices for things should be and how much health enemies should have and stuff like that. Yeah, and it was and just sort of giving them feedback on like, because I remembered how enemies used to work in the original games, and they really wanted Nexus to feel like classic Ratchet or like Destruction era,
Yeah.
and so they were asking questions about that sort of stuff, and I was telling them, like Ratchet enemies tend to have like a big telegraph before they attack and a big vulnerability point after they attack. So we add stuff like that in, and then tweaked it all to make it, feel the right difficulty level.
Okay. Before we get to the victory in just less than 2 minutes, quick question. Why did they change Ratchet's design?
What do you mean?
Well, Ratchet looks like in Crack in Time he was just a lot more, I guess, he looked older and just like, I don't know, but like they just made him smaller and cuter. Like, why?
Oh, they did that for All for One, right?
Yeah, why?
I don't know.
I assumed maybe in All for One it was because because it was a complete online game, they were just reducing it to save space or something. I don't know. But like,
and then there was the
but then they kept it. So.
Well, they also had to. That game was the first one after the Future trilogy, right?
Yeah.
And so they rewrote that from scratch.
Okay. Fair enough.
So they didn't have one stone standing upon another for that one. So they probably just built a new high-res Ratchet model for the game,
I see.
and then they wanted it styled the same way that Quark and Nefarious and stuff would be. So that's probably why.
I see.
I don't know why they wouldn't have changed it back. It looks like the PS4 one. They're trying to make it look like the movie.
Yeah, which is the cuter Ratchet, but whatever.
Well, so he changed from the Ratchet in Ratchet 1 to, like, his model changed a little bit, and he always wore a shirt and helmet after that.
It is about time.
Okay.
This is it, the moment. You ready?
No. Oh! Oh, there it is.
Yes!
You know what would have sucked if you'd gotten hit by that ring
Yes!
right then, after you killed him?
Yes! Yes! I included me just saying yes a few times.
Ratchet? What's up? You know, this time I am thinking what you're thinking.
You know what the tragic thing is, right? To beat Drek, you have to use this giant weapon, so can't beat the game. Tragic.
So technically, it's not wrench only.
Yeah, I had to use a giant weapon
Oh,
to ultimately save the universe.
And kill Drek, you murderer.
In theory. If he didn't escape.
Phew, that was close.
Well, he didn't in Ratchet 1.
Yeah,
We know that.
We will see.
Who knows? It might get retconned. You never know.
The servos in my arm appear to be.
But I'm telling you, right then, you killed Drek.
Fair
Drek's
enough.
dead. That's how it is.
Broken? Yes.
But yeah, I would have liked to see Drek come back too. Maybe as a zombie. It's like, we thought you were dead. I was. Bleh.
And then he uses the cutscene
My
gun.
arm appears to be.
Yeah, and
damaged.
all that's left is a little tiny island that you're standing on.
Yeah. It's got all the great explosions from our time.
See, Ratchet wasn't even a likable person.
He really isn't.
Like, we wanted him to change over the course of the game, but I feel like if he was gonna change, he should have changed maybe about an hour ago in the game, you
Yeah.
know?
Where do you think you're going?
Yeah, and it's really like, even like just seeing some of the new cutscenes, you can see that they're friendly towards each
Well,
other.
and
I love the one in Blog Station where Ratchet's just getting tired, because it's brilliant. He hasn't done fighting before. That's so realistic. Like, why wouldn't you? I just love that. But yeah, there it is. There's
we go.
the game, and I think it's in like 2 panels time. It's your name.
Yeah, I think it's alphabetical. Yeah, it is.
There's Tony. Yeah, there's Tony.
Craig Goodman. Brian. Oh, Moses. Moses worked with me on Spyborgs.
Ah, okay.
Leslie, she was the one who designed every level you asked me who designed it.
Mike Stout!
I saw Jason a week ago.
Yeah.
Chooch!
Oh, all these beautiful people.
And there's Mark.
Mm. Oh man. Well,
Great.
there it is.
I'm looking to see if executive producer says cause anywhere.
Well,
So let's see.
that's it. That's wrench only.
You did it. You wrenched, except for that one, super weapon you
Yeah,
used.
which I mean, I technically hit a button, but yeah, that I've done it. I'm the first person.
Congratulations, Teal.
To prove that I've done it. Others may have, but they don't have any proof of that, so I don't believe you.
I hereby declare you, by the power vested in me, the greatest Ratchet and Clank player of all time.
Yay! Insomniac, give me your PS4 game. I'll wrench it. Give me it. Give me it now. Give me the beta version. Come on. It's playable.
Probably
That
easier to-
points. That'll do.
It will probably be easier to glitch through it in beta. So-
Yeah, it will. You're right. Give me it now. Come on. Do you want me to beat it or don't you? I want to beat it. I want to play it now. I really want to play it.
When does it come out? Do you know?
Next year, I think April.
Oh, wow. Okay. I thought it was holiday.
No. It was originally going to be summer this year, and then it got pushed back. The movie,
So
the
they
movie
got
was going to be
more-
summer this year, and then the movie was pushed back to April next year. I think April 29th. So
Okay.
the game's coming out around that time.
Well, that's great, man. All that extra time is just more gravy.
Yeah, no, that is true. But-
And more gravy is more better, man.
Yeah.
That looks like it's fun already, and people are telling me that the focus testers are saying it's fun.
Mm.
And if it's fun already, and they still have almost a year,
So do the focus
It's a
testers
really
get
good
to
time.
play all of it?
no, not
Okay.
always.
Right.
It depends on how much is made. Usually, they'll play all that we have.
Right, I see.
But sometimes it'll just be, oh, there's Kaz.
Yeah.
Usually it'll be like one level. Like at the beginning of the game, we'll have 2, maybe 3, and we'll show that to them. And then, later on we'll have almost all the levels, and we'll show that. And then we'll do a third one, and we'll show everything, and that'll be sort of all the user testing that goes on. Whereas in Skylanders, we tested weekly for almost a year.
Wow.
It was a completely different way of user testing, but it was real because instead of getting in like 10 kids and doing 3 intensive days 3 times, we would get in 3 kids and do a couple hours, a lot.
Yeah.
And so we were able to get a lot of different kids with a lot of different perspectives, which was cool. And different ages. Like we'd always have, a young group, a middle group, and a teenage group, just to see how the different age groups handled it.
Mm. Well, that is everything you can do wrench only. There are 5 gold bolts you can't get because you need weapons to get them.
Hey, Mary, cheer for Teal. Woo! Teal won! Good job, buddy.
I did it. I've done the impossible.
You should submit the original footage to Guinness or whoever keeps records.
That would be cool, but never gonna happen.
I don't know who keeps first ever video game records, but whoever that is, just let them know.
Yeah, well, I've done it. I can sleep well now.
So does that mean we're done then?
That does. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Teal. It was nice to talk to you for 2 hours.
Yeah, it's nice to catch up and learn a lot. And yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed just freaking out over me, like, enduring hell. For a
I'm
couple
glad I
hours on
got
the
to see
stream.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was entertaining. Just watching you slowly lose your mind as time went on was really gratifying.
Yeah, I'm sure those who worked on the game and that boss would be proud.
Well, it's like when I watch you play Skylanders and you think you're good at the puzzles, and then I realize that's because I did my job very well.
Yeah. Yes, it's exactly like that. Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.
Just a small little additional thing. Mike Stout has a Patreon page where he is going to do various Q&A sessions and podcasts and also written articles on game design. So if that's the kind of thing you're really interested in, learning how game design works, whether you want to be in the industry or just for fascination, please do go and subscribe to his Patreon. It'll help him out and you're going to learn a lot of stuff. It's really cool. See you later. Bye-bye.